your Seattle Seahawks are going to beat the Arizona Cardinals later tonight. Look, I'm not here with my crystal ball, but I've got 3 reasons why I believe the Seattle Seahawks are going to dominate their hated rivals down in Arizona. Let's get into the video. Now, do you agree with me? I know it's a bold stance. I stood up on the table and I said the Seahawks are going to win. Do you believe they're going to win? The only way to let me know is by typing C in the comments down below if you think the Seattle Seahawks are going to get a victory tonight against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I got a couple of reasons why, just 3 in this case. Now, the top reason, I think, is the passing attack that you have shown in Seattle. There's some nicks and some scrapes in that running game. And so, while I think that rushing attack is going to be okay, especially if you watched the last video talking about Zach Charbonnet, I do know that there's going to be some slack that needs to be picked up with fullback Robbie Oots more than likely not being able to go. That's where our elite quarterback comes into play. Sam Darnold is going to pick this Cardinals defense apart tonight. And it's not just because the Cardinals are dumb and they love to sit in too high safety looks. It's not just because Sam Darnold sees a too high safety and starts drooling at the mouth because he knows he's going to be able to pick apart a defense. It is because this Cardinals team that's 2-1 right now is sneaky fool's gold. What do I mean by that? This Cardinals team has defensively kept teams, for the most part, under that 20-point mark. That's normally pretty good. But I'll tell you right now that when you dive into their schedule, it's been paper thin. It's been soft, one ply. Look at the first 3 weeks. We just beat the you-know-what out of the New Orleans Saints. A 20-13 victory. The Seahawks had 20 points before the end of the first quarter. The Seahawks could have beat the New Orleans Saints just with their special teams. Is that a little bit hyperbole? Yeah. But you smacked the Saints all over the yard. The Arizona Cardinals did not. In fact, they gave up a lot of yardage in that game. They just didn't give up a lot of touchdowns. You look at the Carolina Panthers, they barely snuck out of that game with a win. Bryce Young has looked kind of like Bryce Young did at the beginning of last year, not like the end of Bryce Young at the end of the season. That game was still pretty darn close, and that Carolina Panthers team came back in that one. So the Cardinals took their foot off the gas. Now you're looking at the 49ers game. Yeah, the Cardinals lost. Probably should have won. 16 points. Hey, Mac Jones was the quarterback. It wasn't like when you held Brock Purdy to 17 points in Seattle. It's Mac Jones. I'm going to reemphasize that. Mac Jones was the quarterback of the 49ers, and the Cardinals weren't able to get a victory there. That's not a murderer's row. You're not going up against some of the top teams in the NFL. Just look at the Seahawks' first 3 weeks. Think about it in your head. Brock Purdy, who's better than people give him credit for. You went against a Hall of Famer in Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers. And then, well, look, Spencer Rattler kind of is Garbo. But you had 2 weeks where you played really good teams, and your defense dominated them. You have a team in Arizona that played 2 of the worst teams in the NFL and a 49ers team that, let's say they're maybe at 75%. They didn't dominate them. They let them score all over the place. They let them get a ton of yardage. Seahawks are going to make this team pay. We've seen what this offense can do when it's clicking. The New Orleans Saints game was a perfect example of that. The Pittsburgh Steelers second half was a perfect example of that. You also have to throw in that when you look at this defense, they're going to be without one of, if not their top cornerbacks in Will Johnson. The Michigan corner has been dominant. He hasn't practiced all week. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to sit here and say he's for sure out. He's probably out. So that means you got to find someone new to cover this guy. The best wide receiver in the NFL. And yes, I said what I said. He's averaging over 100 yards a game. He only has 1 touchdown. Jaxon Smith-Njigba should have more than 1 touchdown. It's just because other guys have been open for this Seattle Seahawks team. It's because the rushing attack has done so well. Who in the world in Arizona is going to cover Jaxon Smith-Njigba? You're without Will Johnson. So now you got to find someone else to go and cover him. You look in this Cardinals secondary, they are injured. Seattle's been injured a lot. They're more injured than even you. So who is going to cover him? You can't leave him one-on-one. You're going to have to double Jaxon Smith-Njigba, do something with a corner and then a safety over the top. You're going to have to try and jam him off the line. Well, guess what? Now you're not focusing on the other players on this team. You're locked in on one guy. On one guy. That means the rest of this group is going to feast. Cooper Kupp, there's a reason why he's going to have a gold jacket one day. Elijah Arroyo is sneaky coming into his own. Torrey Horton, the dude is an end zone magnet. He's played 3 NFL games. He has 3 touchdowns. 2 of them are receiving. He got compared by Clint Kubiak, your offensive coordinator, to Justin freaking Jefferson. Now, I'm not going to go there right away. It's been 3 games. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. But you've got a good receiving core, and you've got good tight ends. You've got good running backs that are going to get open in this game. I think you pick apart this Cardinals defense, and I think that Sam Darnold continues to look like the elite quarterback he is. Now, I stood on the table for our wide receiver 1 here in Seattle. Are you going to stand on the table for Jaxon Smith-Njigba? If you think that he is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, go in and type 1 in the comments. I got 2 more reasons why the Seattle Seahawks are going to beat the Arizona Cardinals later tonight. But first, I got to talk to you about PrizePicks, the proud sponsor of today's episode. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't exactly perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I was playing PrizePicks this weekend. Trust me, I should have used the flex play option. Just saying. You can look at my 2-pick power play for tonight's game. Kyler Murray, less than 216.5 passing yards against this Seattle Seahawks defense. Sam Darnold, more than 214.5 passing yards against that Arizona Cardinals defense. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Now, the second reason why this Seahawks team is going to dominate the Cardinals is this freaking defensive line, man. They are so special. I've got Leonard Williams' picture up there. I could have Byron Murphy's. I could have Jarran Reed's picture up there. Frankly, I could have some of the edge rushers' pictures up there with how well they've been playing with their hand in the dirt. This is a scary, scary group that you have right now in Seattle. Byron Murphy already has passed his sack total from last year. I understand that's 2.5 sacks. Guess what? He's one of the top guys in the NFL in that interior defensive line position. Boye Mafe, Derek Hall, they keep winning on the outside. Leonard Williams is unblockable. As good as Byron Murphy has been, Leonard Williams has been even better. Now, this Cardinals offensive line, they've had some struggles. Early on in the season, they're already giving up over 2 sacks a game. 7 sacks through 3 weeks isn't good enough. And some of that is going to fall on Kyler Murray. Now you're saying, hey, we're going to get the defensive line that has gotten the most amount of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and we're going to put them against one of the worst offensive lines in the entire NFL? I like our chances there in Seattle. I've already mentioned it. Murray holds on to the ball too long. You have a group that can win right away, just like that. Leonard Williams should have more sacks than he has on this year because he's had so many opportunities where he's been getting like one arm on the quarterback as the ball is being thrown away. How many times did we see Brock Purdy getting up off the floor after he had to throw a ball away because of what Leonard Williams, Jarran Reed, and what Byron Murphy were doing? When you look at this interior defensive line unit, it's the best in the NFL, and it's only going to get better. You can see after the play against the New Orleans Saints, Morris is getting stronger. He's getting more comfortable in this defense. Byron Murphy is playing like the player that you drafted in the first round. The guy that you said was the best defensive player in the draft last year. Jarran Reed's just a stud. That's a workhorse. That's a guy who plays a long time in the NFL. When you look at that interior D-line, it can continue to get better too, because at some point, that man Riley Mills, he'll be back real soon. Looking at these edge rushers, they've done everything but get sacks. All Boye Mafe does is win one-on-one battles. Derek Hall, going into last week, was tied with Micah freaking Parsons for one of the most pressures in the NFL. That number was at 7 through 2 games. I'm not even getting into DeMarcus Lawrence, who, if he's on the left side, you can't run there. If he's on the right side, you can't run there. Wherever DeMarcus Lawrence is, if you try to run the football, good luck. It ain't happening. Now you're telling me that he's going to have an opportunity to get after a quarterback with a bad O-line and a quarterback that's going to hold on to the football too long? I love that. Uchenna Nwosu's getting healthier too. We've gotten to see him now through 2 weeks. Better every single week. This group is going to absolutely feast. Now, the last reason why I think that you're going to win this game is because you force turnovers. The Seattle Seahawks secondary already has 5 interceptions on the year, and they're not even at full strength. Kyler Murray has not paid the price this year for his errant throws. This defensive group is going to take the proper chances to go and get those interceptions. Kobe Bryant already has an interception on the year. Don't be shocked if he goes off and has another interception in this game. Don't be shocked if your new nickel cornerback, Darian Kendrick, goes and adds a 3rd interception. I mean, shoot, the kid should already have 4. Ernest Jones even has an interception on the year. You have been playing lights freaking out. Josh Jobe, the guy who's on the picture of that graphic, the first one, not the one that we have up right now, Josh Jobs has an interception on the year. They're talking about him as being an all-pro through the first 3 weeks. Kyler Murray's going to turn the football over. 1 interception on the year. Don't be shocked if that interception total goes up. He likes to take risks with the football, especially in the low red zone. That's where you go and make plays. Go force turnovers when Kyler Murray tries to force the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., because that's the only receiver that he might have in this game. Go force turnovers when he tries to throw the ball to Trey McBride. Make Kyler Murray make mistakes. He can be careless with the football, not just in where he throws it, but in how he runs. How often have you seen Kyler Murray run like this, where he's got the ball up, or he's got it down, but he's doing the same idea? He doesn't tuck it high and tight. He doesn't put 2 hands on the football. He runs with the football way off in his hands. And look, that does make Kyler Murray great. I'm not here to take that avenue away from him, that aspect of his game away from him. But it does leave him open for peanut punches. It leaves him open for when you get a tackle on him to swing your arm down, DeMarcus Lawrence, to swing your arm down, Boye Mafe, and get fumbles. He is a turnover-prone QB, and we've seen that year after year after year. This year, Kyler Murray just hasn't paid the price for him. He has not been snake-bitten by that turnover. So make him pay. Be the team that turns Kyler Murray over. You've seen what special teams touchdowns and what turnovers will do for your offense. You set them up in short fields, they score quickly. You saw how momentum can snowball last week against the New Orleans Saints. You can do the same thing against your hated NFC West rival, the Arizona Cardinals. Plus, they have those stupid bird poop uniforms on. I would love to see them sad and lose in those unis. These are my 3 reasons why, man. It's a pretty simple game plan for your Seattle Seahawks. Go out, attack this secondary of the Arizona Cardinals. They're injured and they're weak. They're not as strong as what it says on paper. Defensive line, eat alive the offensive line of the Arizona Cardinals. You can do it. I believe in you. And then in the secondary, you're going to get a little bit healthier and create turnovers. Take risks. Trust me, they've been paying off all year. Take more risks. I think that if you do those 3 things, the Seattle Seahawks get a victory. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you might as well join, sub, so that the Seattle Seahawks will get a victory tonight against the Arizona Cardinals. You don't want to be the person that jinxes it. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.